when did you leave Kamloops to pursue your career, and where are you at right now?
I guess really I left almost 2 years ago now. I went to Toronto and it's such a different vibe out there. I didn't love it as much as I thought I would. So I came back to Kamloops at the beginning of the pandemic last year. And then I guess I'm coming up on, wow, it feels like time is a lot shorter than it really is, but so much time has gone by. But a year ago, we moved to Vancouver and it's been great. It's really interesting to be a musician during a time like this, and navigating social media is kind of like your only live streaming outlet, and it's looking like things are starting to open up, but it's been kind of nice to step back and spend a bit more time on writing and recording and maybe trying some new sounds. So it hasn't been as bad as I thought it would be.
What was it about Toronto that you didn't like so much?
You know what? I never believed when somebody said that the West Coast and the East Coast have such a different vibe, but they really do. I think Toronto is very hyper competitive. It's a bit dog eat dog, very like concrete jungle. And while Vancouver's a big city, I still feel like there's that humbleness in like the West Coast BC lifestyle. And so I wanted the big city music scene with like the Kamloops humble, kind-hearted people. So I felt like Vancouver was the closest thing to that.
A pretty exciting time for you, or I imagine it is. You just released an album, Drowning in My Thoughts. So what can you tell us about the album and how's it been received so far?
Yeah, so it's been really good. I mean, a lot of the songs on there have already been released over the last year, and "Drowning in My Thoughts" is a lyric from "Best Part of Me," and that's really what the album is. I mean, it's all about this like roller coaster of emotions. It goes from this like super sultry teasing song to, talking about your mental health, to a heartbreak, to getting down and boogieing and then being totally in love. And I think that that's like so natural to the human brain. It's been received really well. I think people like the rawness of the songs and how, when you play the album, you never know what emotional roller coaster you'll go on that day. But I'm really excited that it's out, and I've been sort of working on some new sounds, and I'm hoping that people will receive those as well soon when they start to come out.
And how much do you miss the live aspect of things, and how hard has it been to promote this music without having that avenue?
It's been hard. But I mean, I think the industry has kind of started to slowly go online. Like you make more money off of streaming than you do off of touring now anyway. It has been hard to not see people though. I did a couple live stream shows, and the reason most musicians play isn't because we do it for ourselves, but we do it to entertain for people, and to help them forget about the times that they're going through. And especially now, we needed that live entertainment so that people could go out and forget about the way that the world was just so chaotic. And it was hard to see somebody smile when you played a song and they forgot just like for a short second that they were locked down. So it has been hard, but it looks like things are starting to open up. I actually have a show coming up this week, so I'm really
Yes.
excited about that. The one coming up, I think, is Thursday at Harper's Trail Winery for the SPCA tailgate fundraiser. So not only do I love the SPCA, but I also love wine and I love to play music. So it's going to be a great event. I think also, with COVID going on, then you add the smoke, and there's like a little bit of fear that maybe things will start to get canceled because of that. But I'm thinking people are just so starved for this entertainment and this opportunity to connect with people that like they just won't care about the smoke. They're gonna want
Yeah,
to.
it's been pretty bad out here. Like I hope it kind of clears up for you, because it's just it's depressing. So we could use some music out here too.
I know. I know there's been lots of rain in Kamloops right now, so hopefully that's starting to help the firefighters and make their jobs a little bit easier. But as for, shows, there's a festival coming up in Vancouver called I'm going to butcher this, but I think it's the Westward Festival. And I have a nice little slot there. And the wineries and distilleries, they are starting to open up. So they're reaching out for little shows. And I'll be in Kelowna this Saturday, which will be great. I'm going to go play some songs with my dad. And we'll see, as things start to open up, maybe we can venture out of BC and go play some shows.
Yeah, I can't proclaim to be an expert in your music, but I've heard you, I've seen you live before, and I did some homework today and watched on YouTube, and it does seem like there's been a pretty sharp, I don't know, evolution in style and in image as well that you're kind of portraying in the last few years. Like I saw you playing at the Roxy with your dad. I think that's like 2019, and your brother,
Yeah.
and then 2018, your BC Winter Games song. It's a lot different than what your new album sounds like. So how did this evolution happen?
You know what? I don't know. It's such a good question, but I think it's just like, anything when you grow up. Either you get bored of the sound, or you want an outfit change up, or you want a music change up. It's the same thing. And as you experience just a little bit more in life, you want to put that into your music, and you want to try things. So I'm sure every year, things are gonna evolve and they're gonna change, and I can't wait to hear myself in 5 to 6 years and compare it to Moments in the Mountains, which is so crazy to even do now with just a couple years in between.
What's your career goal? I mean, do you have like a ultimate goal that you want to achieve?
Oh yeah, I've always said, and I don't know if this will happen anymore with COVID, but I always wanted to be Madison at Madison Square Gardens, and if I made it there, then I knew I hit all my goals. But obviously, you've had to come up with more realistic goals as times have changed, and I would love to just have more songs on the radio. I think it's great when people reach out and they say they've heard me across Canada. That always feels like such a surreal moment. And I'd love to travel and play music. It's so important to me to be able to play the songs that I write, and to see people, and to be able to do that in other parts of the world. I think that that's another huge goal.
Do you feel like it's going to be a big break moment type thing, like one song that just is a smash hit, or one live performance that really goes viral? And what do you think your big break is going to look like as far as like the Madison Square Garden big break?
Break. Oh man, I hope that happens. I don't know. I don't know what that big break will be, and hopefully it'll be a song that I really believe in. Because sometimes you write a song that you're like, oh, this is a cool song, and everybody likes it. But then there's songs that you write, and you're like, this is a song that I love, and I hope it does well. And maybe it'll just be right place, right time, and people start requesting it on the radio, or TikTok's a crazy world right now too. It really changes somebody's career, and the way that the music is being heard by industry professionals. So it's hard to say. Maybe the big break will never happen, and I'll just have a beautiful compact fan base, and that's okay too. I think just yeah, I don't know.
You mentioned your social media there. TikTok, I think, has blown up for you pretty big of late.
Yeah.
Is that kind of your number one go-to right now as far as social media?
Yeah, I love TikTok because it's this great platform where people can just be whoever they want. Like, there's no keeping up with the Kardashians. You don't have to face tune your photos or edit them. Like, it's just videos about real life situations going on. And I think that's, I first got onto TikTok to use it as a business tool, which it absolutely is. And it's really helped with my music. But I had I had a really hard time getting people to take my content seriously, or want to get involved, because I was just another girl who was singing or dancing. And I kind of like paused. I came back. I was like, what's really my goal with TikTok? And I wanted to show people what goes on in my life. And that's kind of when I started talking about Derek, my boyfriend, and the struggles of somebody in a wheelchair, and the goal of wanting to help him fundraise for stem cells so he can walk again. And then I took it to TikTok, because I knew out of all the platforms, it was the most honest, it was the most authentic, and it was the one that you could be the silliest. Like, I can't put on, Christmas booty shorts and shake my butt on Facebook. It's like, grandma, will shake your head, But TikTok, you can, and it's such a great community as well. Like, when they see a cause and they see something that they want to support, they'll fight for it. Like, they'll make it happen. And so I've really appreciated the power of TikTok. I mean, Instagram is great too, and so is Facebook, and Twitter and YouTube. But there's this like preconceived notion that everything has to be put together on those platforms, that everything has to be themed and unique, and the best photo and the best hashtags and the best captions. Whereas TikTok, it's like just the silliest stuff and the things that make people feel good. It's an entertainment platform. So yeah, no, I think it's a great one, and I think people are worried that maybe they're too old or they're too young for the app, but anybody can be on. Like there's a community for everybody to be on that platform and to share what they want to share, whether it's food or art or music or dog walking. Like it's a fabulous platform.
You mentioned your boyfriend. It's a good segue for me here. I actually didn't know that it was Derek, and I've actually interviewed Derek before the Winter Games. I know a bit about his story. We've actually talked on the phone, but for people who don't know, life-changing motocross accident, broke his T6 and T7 vertebrae, fractured 4 ribs, lacerated his lungs, and was told he'll never walk again. Were you with him when that happened?
No, no, my parents have a small little music venue in their basement, and he was the one guy that showed up one night, and it was like a perfect little meet cute moment. Um, but I come from a very like hyper supportive family. I think you have to when you're in the music industry. And when I met Derek, I was like, you know what? You're gonna walk again. I don't care what anybody's told you. You're gonna walk again. And he's like, okay, whatever. And I mean, I fell in love with him right away. He had this beautiful smile that just drew me in. And so
When did you meet him?
we met just a little over 2 years ago here in Kamloops, and then we moved to Toronto together because he was playing for Team Canada, which I mean he still does play, but it's a little hard with the COVID restrictions. And then at the beginning of pandemic, we came back here, and we both live in or I live in Vancouver, he lives in Vancouver with me.
Right. So you instantly come into his life, and you're in an encouraging force and doing everything you can. What's it been like to be with him and to try and help him through his journey?
It's been great. I mean, I'm a fixer. That's like who I am as a person. I love to help. I love to find solutions to problems. And not that being in a chair is a problem, but I think when you aren't around somebody who has a physical disability, you don't understand the everyday things that are struggles, like getting something off of the top shelf, being able to stretch out your back, being able to find some movement so that if you have a stomach ache, like that helps. And so, I mean, on TikTok, I know the goal was to say, I want to get Derek walking, and those are super big goals. But the goal was always to just be able to find like a little bit of normalcy for him and to find that movement so that his legs don't atrophy as quickly, so that there's a little bit more blood flow happening. And it's been really exciting to see that stuff actually happen. Like people, the whole time we were fundraising, there was a great group of people supporting us, but there were always the naysayers. And I mean, I think you're going to get that with anything in your life, but it's so awesome to prove them wrong, that things are happening, and like his abs are squeezing and his butt's clenching and like all these things that you never thought you'd celebrate, but like it's awesome. Like of course you want to celebrate those things. So it's been really exciting to see that happen. And he's such a happy person, and he's super easygoing. So I wouldn't want to be doing it with anybody else.
He's sought some kind of stem cell treatment. What's been going on with that? What's the latest, and how did it all come together? Because there was some crazy fundraising stuff that happened, I know.
Yeah, so I started fundraising back in the summer, I guess a year ago. The stem cells that Derek has received, because he just got back actually today,
From where?
from Colombia, from his second round of stem cells. And the stem cells that he's receiving are not offered here at such a high dose. So like most of the times if you have a shoulder pain or knee pain, you can get stem cells in Canada, but it's at about like a 5 to 10 million stem cells injection just for like localized pain. But down in Colombia, they do 100 million stem cells each round, and they do it directly into his spinal column. So it's just targeting all these beautiful little spinal pieces, and they're helping them slowly bridge together. So it's been frustrating. This treatment isn't offered in Canada, and that people aren't aware of it. But through this process of fundraising, we've had so many people with spinal cord injuries reach out to us, and now they're fundraising, or they've already fundraised and they're going to Colombia for the same stem cell treatment. And so it's kind of been nice to pave this way, or at least show that there's more options than we're told.
Talk to you about mental health for a little bit. You've been public with your struggles. I mean, your album is well, there's a lot of themes of mental health in it. I mean, Best Part of Me, I read, was pretty much all about mental health. So how are you doing? And how's your mental health been during the pandemic?
It's been crazy. I know like mental health has been really hard for a lot of people right now. I know the suicide rate has been really high. It's just a really terrible time to be struggling with, things in your head. And um, I think the most important part with mental health is like talking about it. It's it's so easy to like keep that stuff inside, and when you do, like it eats you up. And I know it's scary to bring that stuff up, but there are so many amazing resources that we aren't using. Obviously, like there's crisis lines and text numbers, and just me. I mean, like I always tell people they can reach out to me if they're feeling low, and I've actually been so blessed that people do, and I get to be a part of their life. And I just recently lost a friend to mental health, and it's hard to watch somebody like choose that, and to go through that, and the pain that it puts on other people. It is so heartbreaking to see somebody feel that way. And so um, I don't know, how we can help, but I just know that talking about it is like such a big thing, and making it normal to feel that way, and so that people don't feel like they're different, but that it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to get better. It's okay to not be okay and then to be okay the next day. But just, sharing how you're feeling is so, so important right now.
So what can you share with us about this friend? Because this was a very close friend from what I understand. How hard has this been, and how are you dealing with it?
It's been really hard. I mean, I've never lost somebody to mental health, and um, I think there's things that come with that. There is PTSD, there is trauma, there's pain. Like it's such an unexplainable feeling, and anybody that's gone through it would say, yeah, I know those feelings. The grief and the regret, and then the anger, and the wanting to be mad at them, but then also be like, wow, I'm mad at myself and I'm so sorry. And it's just going to be all these things that we'll never fully understand. And I think the more I talk about it with the other people that knew my best friend, they're all feeling the same way. And it's so important to talk about that with them, because then I know whatever it is that I'm feeling right now is totally normal, and it's just part of the cycle of losing somebody that way. But yeah, I mean, there are good days and there are bad days, and I know I post about it on my social media, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm okay. I think it's important to talk about it and to let it out, because the more you bottle it in, the worse it's just going to make you feel." And I know the last thing that she would want is for somebody to be feeling the way that she was feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I think from the outside, looking at someone like yourself, this entertainer who's so natural on stage and has a great voice and seemingly has all these things going for her. And I've seen the photos that you've posted with her. From the outside, these look like two super happy people. How much more important does that make to talk about it? Because you just never know what people are going through.
You know what? I didn't know. And it was such a surprise when I got the phone call. And I think I'll always be surprised. And it's usually the people that suspect that probably aren't doing the best. And I've definitely taken this, like, to never take silence as anything more than somebody actually needing help. And I'm so sad that I learned the lessons that I did through her. And I had to lose somebody so important to me to realize that every moment I talk to somebody is a moment to say I love you and I care about you and talk to me, and is a moment to reach out to somebody I haven't heard from in 2 days, and to make sure that they know their worth, and they know that there are people here on earth that love them and care about them and will miss them if something were to happen to them.
I hope you don't blame yourself, though.
Oh, you know what though? Like I do, and everybody I talk to does as well. And I think that that's so it's so natural, like that guilt. I work with a company called Heart of Indie Radio, and they do a lot about anti-bullying, and talking to people that have lost a loved one to suicide. And that guilt is like that, it's such a big part of losing somebody, because I call it this a hero complex. Like, how heroic of me to think that if I had done something, I could have saved you, when in reality, I probably couldn't have. But it's just that natural part, that there's that desperation to feel like if I had done something, maybe I could have saved you. And it's part of the process, and the grief. But
I saw you post something. You said you're hoping to play at her wedding someday. Did she have a funeral, and did you attend, or what was that post about?
yeah, so we just had her celebration of life on Saturday, which was Yeah, the hardest, the hardest thing I'll probably ever do. I actually wrote Moments in the Mountains about her and I. So they asked me to play it there, and I'll never be able to play that song again without wanting to cry or just play it at all.
Did you get through it without crying?
No, gosh, no. And I'll never be able to listen to it without crying. And I think that it's good though. It's a beautiful reminder, and it was the first song I ever released as well. So I'm so beyond blessed that that's something that I get to share with her for the rest of my life. Elizabeth and we went to high school together.
Oh, she's from Kamloops?
From Savonov, we went to SKSS together.
Okay. Okay. That's
No,
super
she's
sad.
beautiful soul, beautiful soul.
Anything else you wanted to add?
No, I mean, I feel like you hit all the topics so well, and thank you for being so, kind to ask me about that. I think it's a tough thing. People don't want to talk about it.
Some Kamloops gigs coming up, and
Yeah,
hopefully Vancouver, hopefully New York someday, Madison Square Garden.
New York, yeah.
So we'll keep a lookout for that. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you so much, Marty.